Okay, so the final element that we're looking at in this exposure triangle is the top one. This is ISO. Okay, talks about how sensitive your camera sense is within the body of your camera. Now, in the olden days, when you used film, you used to buy film that was different sensitivity. Okay, the higher the number, the sensitivity, the better it was at capturing things in low light or things that involved action and things like that. Okay, so within your image sensor, okay, there is a way of actually adjusting the sensitivity to the light that actually comes in. All right, so that's kind of what ISO is. It's the light sensitivity meter. You can find this, okay, it'll often be on the top of your camera. You'll see a button like this where it actually says change to ISO, or you might actually find it on the back. Okay, and it generally goes up to start with in hundreds, then in 200s, then in 400s. It pretty much doubles as we kind of go, as you can see. Okay, the higher the number, okay, the more sensitive it is to picking up light. Okay, so if we're shooting in the dark, we kind of want to be shooting certainly above 800 up in these areas up here. Okay, here's a good example. Again, Lego figures always kind of work well for this sort of examples. You can see as we're actually adjusting the ISO, okay, you can see it's increasing the sensitivity and allowing more light to come into your camera. Okay, so remember, I told you it's a balance between those three variables: ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. Okay, now, but there's one thing you need to understand with ISO. Okay, the higher you go with it, the more sensitive it is. Okay, but also the more sensitive and more grainy your image becomes. Okay, so if we have a look at this image here, we can see shooting at ISO 100, we've got a fairly good image here. If we wanted to print this, yeah, we'd have no problem at all. You can see once we're getting up into the thousands, this becomes incredibly grainy. We wouldn't be able to print this. The quality of this would be really, really bad. What I say to my students is never go over 800. Unless you're really, really desperate and you're trying to capture a certain image at night, do not go over 800. I had one student who set her camera to 6,400 for the whole course. Yeah, and we couldn't use a single image come the end of the course. All right. Through the daytime, you want to be making sure your camera is probably set at ISO 100, maybe 250 if it's an overcast day. All right. At nighttime, please, please, please don't go over 800. You can see it becomes too grainy and you really can't then actually use it. Okay, so again, when you're under low light conditions, when you're shooting action shots, this is where you want to have the higher ISOs. But with that more sensitivity, you do obviously get more graininess and more noise. Okay, same task as before. What I want you to do is talk to me. What is ISO? Okay, find some images. You can either take some yourself, adjusting the ISO to show how grainy it becomes. Okay, or you can just take an image from the internet to actually help with your explanation. But I want to post in your portfolio now that explains what ISO is and how it allows you to adjust the exposure in your camera.